AZ, I know you were one of the guys who were really excited when Brad got the job 2 years ago. How tough is this day to get this news just that it didn't work out?
Yeah, it's tough. I've been with Lars for 7+ years now. I think only Booner's been longer with him at, I want to say, 10 years. So the relationship goes deep. It goes back a long time since my first pro game. I've known Lars, and obviously it's a tough situation. I think as players too, and as competitors, like, it's on us a little bit, right? Like, we didn't play to a standard, and you never want to see someone get let go because of on ice play, right? But that's part of the business, and so yeah, no, it's definitely tough. But like I said, it's part of it.
Z, I mean, we've talked about it all season, including your injury. I mean, the injuries just wrecked this team early. So I'm sure that leaves a lot of motivation for like next season for all of you guys coming back. Yarmo was in here earlier, and basically, I mean, talked about speeding up the timeline a little bit. Like, we're tired of losing. We want to get back to the playoffs. I mean, what is the team focus, your focus, as you look forward to next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's just got to look in the mirror and just say, like, this year wasn't good enough. Myself included. Like, it's a freak thing, but I can't get hurt. It's one of those things. I got to play 72, 75, 80 games, and that goes for a lot of guys. Obviously freak things happen, but I think going into the off season, guys can take a little break. I don't want to say forget about it, because these are things that should motivate you, to not go through this year again. But guys can look in the mirror, and I think collectively we can, be more conditioned, be in better shape, be stronger, and then come training camp time, it's going to be hard. We can't go through years like this again. It's one of those things, like I think Yarmo said, we have to speed this up. We're not, as players, you don't want to go through it. You only have so many years in your career, and obviously none of the fans, you guys, management, no one wants to go through this. So I think it's on us to speed it up.
He was also mentioning that there's going to be changes, obviously, they're starting today with the coaches and stuff. But when you look around the room at what is already here, do you see a team that can make a big rebound next year?
Yeah, 100%. I think you look at guys like, Booner, myself that have been here for a while. You had Johnny, Curls, Goody. You got guys like KJ and Marchie who took huge steps. He's Silly, tough year for Silly, but he's a guy that gets it, right? He's a true pro, and I'm sure he's going to have a big summer. You got Chinny. Like, we have guys here that can really do damage in this league. I think it's on us as leaders to make sure guys are ready to go come training camp and have good off seasons. And I don't think we're far off. It's just making sure we're all on the same page come camp.
That kind of building off of that, that's personnel. What about culture? Because we saw this team that was way down and undermanned in a lot of games still battle through. Where's the culture at right now in this room in terms of what they're going to carry forward to next year?
Yeah, I think this year was tough a little bit with the culture side of things, with all the injuries, guys coming up, going down, just trades, whatever it may be. I think, most years you kind of have your group, and then there's injuries along the way, where this year it was just, I was introducing myself to guys every morning, it felt like, which is, it's kind of hard to build a culture that way. I think we can definitely do a better job as leaders of, I don't want to say the culture wasn't good at all, because it was, right? We have a close group in there, but I think just in terms of standard, we have to set the standard higher, and we got to make sure young guys know that this isn't acceptable. We know it's not acceptable. We've been on winning teams, and we have to get our standard back there, and that starts with us and building that culture. And like I said, I think we have really good pieces in there. The guys I named, like, we're not far off. It's just making sure we help them get there, and we help this team get in the right direction.
Zach, how are you feeling? How's the rehab going? And do you feel like that you guys need to use the summer to make any sort of adjustments to training just to make sure you're fully ready for next year?
Yeah, I feel really good right now. Every day I'm feeling better. I've been on the ice, obviously, for a few weeks now, and I feel really good. So that's obviously a positive going into a long off season. In terms of training, I think everyone's a little bit different. I know what I like to do, and I think for me it's even doing a little bit more this summer. In terms of other guys, I would, challenge them to do the same thing. Everyone has a routine, but let's make sure we give a little more this summer so we're not in this situation again next season. And whatever it is that may be, whether it's mobility, strength, cardio. There's so many options and different ways to get better. I think it's just looking in the mirror and doing a little bit more than we've done in the past to make sure we're not here again.
As a veteran of this team, how difficult was it to try and be a leader when you're not on the ice for most of the season?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think when you're on the ice and you're going through it with the guys, it's definitely easier. You kind of get a temperature of the room. You get a feel for what's going on, what the game's like. It's hard watching on TV or from up above every time. And then it's also hard too because you're not trying to mess up guys' routines and ask them questions and talk to them. So you kind of try and stay out of it. But I think I learned a lot this year just from. I think I was around the rink more, whether I was working out or just hanging out because I had nothing else to do. So I got to see a lot and kind of hear a lot and learn from guys and whatnot. But it was definitely tough in that aspect. Obviously, I wanted to be out there helping the guys and being a leader that way. But I'm just excited for next season to get back on the ice again and get playing.
See, I'm not sure how much you've paid attention to draft lotteries in the past, but is it safe to assume you'll be tuned in on this one next month?
Oh
Is it
yeah,
that big a
I'll be
deal?
tuned in. Yeah, it's a big one. Obviously, I think you have the Bedard, who everyone's talking about, and rightfully so. But you had a couple guys behind him too that, yeah. I mean, wouldn't be so bad, right? But no, honestly, like it's one of those things where everything I'm kind of hearing and reading on it, like I know that Fantilli could probably be a number one in any other draft. That Michkov, Will Smith from the U.S. program, a couple other guys, right? Like, so I think it's a deep draft, which is a good thing in the position we're in. Whoever we get, it's going to be help for this team, and but yeah, I'll be tuned in, see what happens.
I'm just curious, being able to watch the game, seeing other defensemen get opportunities that they might not have otherwise given the way the season went. What did you think of some of the performances of those guys with that opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's one of those things where, even if guys struggled maybe a little bit at certain times, you learn from it, right? And then, you learn from it, you go into an off season, you work on things, you get better, and then next year when you're in these positions, you've been there before, right? I've gone through my growing pains as a defenseman. It's well documented with Torts, and it's hard, right? Playing defense in this league is, like they say, it takes the longest to kind of figure it out, right? So I think we had two guys over 150 games, Boki and Peeker, and then Bayreuther. So we were young decor, right? And I think a lot of guys did a lot of good things, right? They stepped up, played a lot of minutes. It's a tough league, and I think it's a great learning experience for a lot of guys.
With your relationship with Brendan Naurato, the Michigan coach, obviously, do you have a insight on Fantilli? Have you talked to him about Fantilli at all?
I skate with Fantilli in the summers. So last summer was the first summer I skated with him. So I know him a little bit just from that and being on ice with him. Obviously, they speak super highly of his game in general. I think the one thing that sticks out with him, though, it's he has the points, but he also plays in the dirty areas. He's throwing his body around. I went and watched him play OSU in the Big Ten championship or semifinals at Yost a few weeks ago, and obviously I see it in the summer and I see it on TV, but seeing it live, he's a workhorse. His engine doesn't stop going, and those are good players. Those are guys you can't really find. So, like I said, I think this draft's a good draft to be picking high in, and we're gonna get a good player.
Last one for me is it's been a couple of years now since you've played with Seth Jones. I guess it would be fair to say they're still kind of looking for that full-time partner for you up there. You've had some time with Boquist. Do you like having a guy who's a right-hand shot? Is that a little easier? Passing and that kind of thing. And did you like your time with Boquist? Would you like to kind of see that continue a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's definitely easier playing with a righty, just naturally. Your forehands are facing each other. There's some guys that can play the right side as lefties and vice versa, and they're good at it. But I think just naturally playing with the righty is ideal. And Bo's a really good hockey player. I like playing with Bo. It's tough now because I didn't play all season, so those sample sizes are small. But I think we've seen what Bo can do and how he sees the game. He thinks it how I think it, right? And I think when you can get your mentality and kind of how you think the game on the same wavelength, good things can happen. You know, me and Jonesy kind of had that same thought process, and worked out well for a while. But yeah, I like playing with Bo. He's a really good hockey player. Like I said, it's hard because I haven't played in a while, so I don't even know what playing hockey feels like at this point. But no, he's a good player.
So you've worked with Narado the last several summers. He's a big-time college coach now. Can that continue? Do you still train with him in the summertime?
Yeah, I think he can do NHL guys. He just can't. See, I think if you're a college coach, you just can't coach college or train college players. But I haven't really talked to him about this summer coming up yet. Obviously, a big extension and them in the Frozen Four. I'm not gonna ask him, yeah, right now. But I think he still can do NHL guys, which is nice because he's been a big help in my career.
Not to break down every single defenseman in the organization, but there's a lot of talk about Juracek coming up. How much have you observed of his game? And you know, again, you haven't been on the ice with him, but how much can you foresee maybe that pairing working as we look towards the future of the blue line here on this team?
Yeah, he's obviously he was highly touted coming out of the draft. Saw it in training camp, how he sees the game, how he thinks it. Goes to the American League, is an all-star there, which is a hard thing to do, especially as a young guy, as a defenseman. Goes to World Juniors, just best player on the ice. Comes up here, and I thought each game he played here, he got better. I think his last game was Philly. Just the plays he was making and the confidence he played with, you can definitely see it. You know, everything's there. So I can definitely see that working in the future, and whether it's next season or whenever that may be. I know he's kind of got all the accolades and the next steps here, so it's exciting for sure.
With the whole draft process, how do you process you and your teammates that some fans are rooting against you, and they're disappointed that you beat Pittsburgh the other night?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. There's always stuff to be disappointed about when you're fans. You see it on Twitter all the time and social media. But as competitors, I don't think there's a guy in the league that's going to try and lose a hockey game. Guys want to win no matter what the situation is, no matter what the draft lottery is, or Connor Bedard or whatever it may be. I think when you put a jersey on, you play in the NHL, it's a privilege, and you got to do your best to try and win hockey games. And I give our team a lot of credit. It's a veteran Pittsburgh hockey team. We had a lot of young guys, first games. It's a great experience for those guys. It's cool memories, and obviously fans might not like it, but I don't really care. So. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys.